Hey there guys, it's Tina and I am back, and it's another haul video. Yes, I know, but this one is completely spur of the moment, a little bit random, because as I was editing my PR haul video, which will go up shortly, if I already posted it, I will link it over here in the eye and link it down below in the description box as well. But as I was editing that, I realized, hold up, I wanted to mention so many other details for one critical collection from Urban Decay. It's the Urban Decay Cherry collection. So they did send this to me. I mentioned that I got PR from Urban Decay and I was anticipating like maybe I'm gonna get this collection, and I did get it, but there were some items that I completely glazed over and I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it. So I said, all right, let's just jump on camera and do like an additional haul video to cover those details, as well as share some other things that I picked up, because yes, I am a makeup addict and a shopaholic, and I'm working on myself, and I couldn't say no. And really and truly, I should have said no. But I picked up the new Pat McGrath. These are from her new Opulence collection. So these are mini Mothership eyeshadow palettes. They are the 6-pan palettes, which I enjoy. I feel like I enjoy those more than the larger Mothership palettes. And I did say no to that Bronze Seduction palette because it was just, I don't like the special shades. I know a lot of people love the special shades, and if you love them, great. I think they're beautiful. They're just not my style. Like, I don't like them for me, but I do like the smaller palettes, which just have matte shades and frosty shades. And she released 3 versions of these in this Opulence collection, and she released them early on her website. Well, not early. She had a release date on her website, so it hasn't launched in Sephora as yet. They launched on her website, and you could get the 3 palettes for $125. Plus, you could get an extra 10% off with this VIB code. If this video goes up on time, you can use the code OPULENCE10 to get 10% off. So I got all 3 palettes for $122, including tax. So I ended up spending $40 per palette, which I don't mind spending that for a Pat McGrath palette. So originally, I was only going to get 2 of these, but when I saw the special, I was like, excuse me, I can get all 3 for the price of 2, because they're originally $55. So I was going to spend $110 plus tax for just 2 of them, and I could get 3 of them for the same price. So I was like, count me in. The one that I wasn't going to get is the Metalmorphosis palette. This is the pink one. Her packaging, it's beautiful. It's cardboard packaging. She has this really beautiful artwork on it. The name of the palette is actually on the front now, and the total weight of these eyeshadows is 12 grams, so that's 2 grams per eyeshadow, which equates to 0.07 ounces per eyeshadow. So you're getting a significant amount of eyeshadow in these. This one is an all metal palette, and it has a silver and a yellow gold, which is why I wasn't going to pick it up. I am not the biggest fan of like a silver shade. It's beautiful, but I'm not the biggest fan. But these are like copper. You have a copper shade, a bronze shade. You have this champagne silver, and then you have this rich dark blackened purple with purple and pinkish glitter to it. And I wasn't going to get this one at all, but I'm happy that I did, because the bronze shade, the copper shade, and the champagne shade are phenomenally gorgeous. And then this black and purple shade, it feels wet to the touch. It's almost, it's weird how it feels. It doesn't feel like a cream. It just feels damp. That's gorgeous. And even the silver and the yellow gold are gorgeous as well. So I definitely wanted to share this with you guys. I know, I couldn't help myself, and I know there are Pat McGrath lovers out there, so I know a lot of you guys are interested in seeing these, so I wanted to share them with you guys as soon as possible. Then we have the Bronze Temptation. So the way she did these palettes is they're based on the existing Mothership palettes. They're like spin-off child palettes, like daughter palettes that are supposed to coordinate. So this one is, like I said, the Bronze Temptation. This guy, this one was one of them that I wanted to get. So this has 2 mattes in here. They're 2 creamy mattes. I was kind of amazed that these aren't as rich as I expected. Like, I expected the mattes to be a little bit more intense, but they're definitely smooth, but you need to build these up a little bit more, which I found interesting. But they're good mattes. They're browns. There's a red brown and like a caramelly medium tone brown. But the shimmer shades in this, they are gorgeous, especially this red shade. This is called, let's see if I can figure it out, because the names that are in here are on this little clear insert, which I don't like that at all. So this shade that I'm talking about is Corruption. So it's like a deep browny red shade. So it has some red to it, and then it has this coppery gold reflect. It is so phenomenal because it's like duochrome, and as you move it shifts the color, and it's gorgeous. Then this deep green is amazing as well. Then she has another one of those champagne shades that I really love. These look really good on my skin tone, so I love that shade. And then the other brownie shade is also like a duochrome. This one has like a green shift to it, but it's not like too overwhelmingly green. You know what I mean? So it doesn't look like a reptile necessarily, but I love that shade as well. And then the third one, this is the second one that I was going to pick up. This is the Dark Star one. This guy, this has one matte in here, which is a deep, dark, like slate gray. And then the other shades are some level of frost or satin. Again, she has like a champagne-y shade, which I don't know why there are 3 champagne shades that look very similar, but I do like that shade. But I can see how if you bought all 3 and you weren't like thrilled about that shade, it's like that champagne-y bronze shade kind of pops up 3 times, one in each palette, and there's even a 4th one that looks very similar in the Bronze Temptation palette. But this shade is still beautiful. The black, I love this black. This is such a sexy black. It is, again, one of those damp feeling shades. It's more of a satiny black. It's not like a matte black. It's creamy, it's pigmented, it's sooty, it's beautiful. I love that for like a smoky eye. And then this deep plum shade, this blackened, it's like a blackberry shade. It's so beautiful. And then this one is the closest shade to like a special shade. It has the glitter to it, but it has a strong base, and you can use it damp, try to foil it, or you can use it with a glitter glue, or you can even top it over the black to get that iridescent effect. It's like a blue-purple iridescence. It's really beautiful as well. So I was very happy with these palettes. I'm still waiting on her all matte palette though, because that is what like really, really interests me. But I just couldn't say no, and the deal was so good. She pulled me in, and I just couldn't say no. I'm gonna get into the Urban Decay cherry stuff soon, but I wanted to mention the palettes that I picked up on my own because I got the 20% off ULTA coupon. So they're 20% off all brands. It's a one-time use only coupon. And I had the points to redeem for $125 off. So all these products that I picked up, I ended up spending $4 on total after tax and everything. So it was a good deal for me, and I just wanted to grab some of these things because I had my eye on them, and I was like, why not just get it? Just go ahead and get it. I know I'm like enabling myself at this point, and I need to stop. I'm gonna stop at some point. I was eyeing this Becca palette for a while. This is the Volcano Goddess palette. They released this, I believe it was for the holiday. It has to be for holiday, unless it was for fall. I'm not sure. Maybe it was for fall. Anyway, it's this beautiful packaging. Everybody's been talking about the packaging. They sneak peeked it, and then when they saw the inside, I don't think a lot of people were as excited. But then I was, because I swatched it in store, and I kept going back to it. I kept going, no, I don't really want it. I don't love it that much. It looks like something that I already have. But I kept going back to it, and I was like, you know what? You have 20% off. You have the $125 off. Just get it. Just bite the bullet. So I did. And I was really interested in these taupey shades. I love taupes. I love cool tone shades. I like grayish shades. The shade Agate, Ash, Crater, and Haze. I love those 3 shades, and I was like, I need them. The mattes in this, so there are 3 mattes at the top. These are not really mattes that I could necessarily use as transition shades. I would have to mix the deeper shade in because that one's still lighter on my skin tone. But these are some creamy mattes. They're so silky. They're like a dense creamy matte, and I really love that formula. Then they have these chunkier types of eyeshadows, which are, they're dimethicone rich. They have a flakier texture, like the actual pigments are like flakier. So that's Gilded Lava and Midnight Sapphire, along with Diamond Dust, which is this chunky white shade. That's the only one I'm like really iffy about. It's similar to the shade in the Gingerbread palette from Too Faced that I didn't like. I thought that was a dud. it's flaky and it's white, so you kind of have to press it in, but if you use it damp, it shows up pretty. So it's like you kind of have to maneuver these shadows a little bit. The Gilded Lava and Midnight Sapphire shade, use them damp, use a glitter glue or something, and you have to be mindful too that they can create this film on top of it. It's called hard pan, where it coats the eyeshadow and you can't pick it up that easily anymore. So I'm a little bit worried about them, but these shades over here, they're satin shades, really pulled me in and I really wanted to pick this up. So I bit the bullet, so here I am. Here I am, confession time. Okay, so I was in the store, right? Okay, I went in and I was grabbing a couple of things. I had the things on my list that I was going to pick up. And then I saw this. This is from Dose of Colors. It's the new palette that they released for the holidays. It's called Snow Angels. And it was the last one on the shelf. And I was like, thank you. Give it to me. Thank you very much. And I am not disappointed at all. This is an all matte quint. So there are 5 shades in here. They also are releasing this cool tone palette, which I think I might pick up, but I'm going to pick it up on a discount. There's no way I'm going to pay the full price for these palettes. I just don't see the value in them. They're nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to pay $30+ for 5 eyeshadows from Dose of Colors. You get what I'm saying? I'll wait for a coupon and I'll wait for a sale. Anyway, 5 shades in here. This dark blue shade sold me on the entire palette. I swatched that dark blue shade and I said, all right, that's it. Thank you. I picked it up right away. It's such a rich dark blue. Again, it has body to it. It's a thicker matte. It's creamy. I mean, I was just here for it. And I love blue. So automatically I was like, yes. And this sky blue shade, it's called, is that what it's called? 0 Degrees. Also beautiful. It's thinner though. You do have to pack this on if you want a punch, but it's really nice. And then the Berry Cold shade. So this middle shade here. It's such a beautiful, deep berry shade. And I love like deep tones. I've always been looking for like rich navies, a rich burgundy, a rich purple, like dark, deep, rich jewel tone shades that are matte. And this guy is a really beautiful, deep one. It reminds me of the Natasha Denona. She released a cranberry palette. I saw that in store. I swatched that guy and I was like, I really like the shades. But then as I swatched them, the pans formed hard pan right away because no one had swatched them yet. I swatched them and it was literally like, it looked like my fingers left an oily film on top. And I was like, oh, no, that's not going to work. And they were hard to pick up. So I was like, all right, no. So when I saw this, I was like, perfect. Because I'm not buying Natasha Denona stuff. I'm going to find things that are similar. And that shade is what I would be looking for. This pink is like so I don't care. And then this kind of mauvey pinky nude, like a pinky beige, it's okay. But I mean, these 3 shades are the ones that I really love, which is why I won't spend the kind of money that they want for this full price. I'm just not going to do it because I don't love every single shade in that. Alright, I also picked up the Cover FX Power Play Concealer. So I wanted to try this out as well. I swatched it in store. I was impressed by the formulation. It's a creamy formulation, but it's not overly thick and it's not too thin. It gives you great coverage. And I like the dry down. Like it dries down pretty quickly and it dries down matte. And I liked it a lot. So I picked up the shade Medium 4. And this was a neutral color, so it's N Medium 4. And I like this. The applicator is kind of funny looking. It's like a big Q-tip. It's like a dotter, and you're meant to dot it under your eyes. I know Sephora tried to do this with the dotting thing, but their applicator was really small, so Cover FX did a bigger dotter. You're still probably going to go back in a couple of times, but I don't mind. Like, these things are not a big deal to me, but ever since, like, Tarte came out with that Shape Tape with the big paddle brush. It looks like everybody's trying to do those big paddle brushes. So I did pick that up as well. And then I picked up 2 of these eyeshadows from MAC's holiday collection. So they have these new shadows they're calling Shiny Pretty Shadow, which is so random. Like, what kind of name is that, MAC? Like, you guys release shadows all the time, these different formulations, so you just ran out of something and you decided to, you know what we're gonna call this? Shiny Pretty Eyeshadow. Like, where was the creativity? No one could come up with a better name? That was all you got? All right, I'll take it. Shiny Pretty Shadow. So I got 2 of the shades. I got Joy 2 and P for Pink. These are so pretty. These are like their, what were those shadows called? Their Dazzle shadows. Do they still make those? I have all of those. I love those so much. And these are like even better because they're like a lighter formula and they are packed with glitter, and the glitter is kind of duochrome multichromy because Joy 2 is this pink, but it has like a taupey base with blue and purple and pink and champagne. It's so gorgeous. I could not say no. And P for Pink is this bronzy shade that reflects pink. I haven't bought MAC in a while because I don't pay attention anymore. Confession time. I used to have the MAC Pro discount. Years and years ago, when I did freelancing, I qualified for the MAC discount. And it was just automatically renewed every year. Then they changed the rules and you had to like give them all these things. And I was not freelancing anymore. And honestly, I shouldn't have qualified for the Pro discount anymore. But I was still renewing. But now I couldn't qualify anymore. And so they stopped. So after that, since I wasn't getting the discount, I wasn't buying as much anymore because I'm like, I'm not buying these things full price unless they really called to me. And they haven't really called out to me, so I haven't really been checking for MAC. But these 2, I swatched them in store because now they're available in Ulta. Some of their things, not everything, but some key items are there. And I made the mistake of swatching these and fell in love, and I had to get these. So very happy with these. These are gorgeous. They're loose glitter. They're pressed glitter, not loose glitter. But they have like an eyeshadow base. You still have to use like a glitter glue with these though, or a very sticky primer because those need it, right? All right, now let's jump into the Urban Decay stuff. So like I said, I did cover this in my PR haul. You will see that later, but I wanted to grab some more details for you guys. So this palette, I realized I was checking on it because I was checking to see when it would be available. This is coming soon to Sephora, but I believe it's available on the Urban Decay website. But when I went in, I saw the price was different. It's $49. So their naked palettes retail for $54, which has always been a bit of a sore point for me because I think $54 is a lot for a palette. It's higher priced in the medium range brands. So you think Becca, Too Faced, Kat Von D, Urban Decay, Stila, those kinds of palettes, Smashbox. That $54 is on the higher end. So they reduced the price to $49, but I was like, what else did they do? The sizing has also changed. So the eyeshadows used to be 0.05 ounce, which is a full-size small eyeshadow. MAC eyeshadows, Urban Decay eyeshadows, they're typically these size eyeshadows with these small pans are 0.05. The size of these now are 0.038 ounces. So you're getting less product. You're getting 12 eyeshadows, but now the net weight, the sizing of these, it's less. Now, I don't have a problem with that personally. In fact, I'm the one that will advocate for brands to make pan sizes smaller, charge less. We're okay with it. I'm not going to go through a full eyeshadow that quickly, that easily. So give me less product so I can pay less. Now, the price difference is not that significant. It's only $5 difference, and you are getting like a significant amount of product difference. Like, it's not as much anymore. But I've never gone through one of these palettes. If you're somebody that goes through these palettes that quickly, then just be mindful of that. But I don't mind that, and I hope more brands start doing that. And I think they're going to start doing it. With so much competition on the market, they have to start adjusting their prices because they're going to just have sales nonstop trying to compete on the market. But another thing that I wanted to show in that video was the comparison between this palette and the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. So if you see Naked 3 is not for anybody of my skin tone or deeper. This is Ash City. Naked 3 is ridiculously ashy. So if you like pinky tones and you are medium tan skin, this would be the alternative, like the richer sister, like the deeper, more saturated sister, if you were looking for pinky tones. Now, if you're darker than me, and even if you're my complexion, these are still not going to be rich tones because they're not as pigmented or saturated as I would like them to be. And that's the thing that I didn't like about this palette. One, the shades kind of run into each other. They look very similar. There's not a lot of differentiation. So you're going to get like a monotone look all the time. But people are into that and people like that. So if that's your everyday look, you may really like this palette. But that was my first strike. The second strike is that these aren't really as rich and pigmented and saturated as I would want them to be. They're just not as intense. This side of the palette is probably the part that I would get the most use out of because those are the richer tones. But these other shades, they don't really like do much for me. And then the other palette I wanted to show you this up against is the Back Talk palette. Now this Back Talk palette did not do that well. They did send this to me as well. So you'll see that the Back Talk palette has similar shades as well. So if you didn't like this palette, if you weren't interested in this palette, then you won't be interested in this either. If you already have this palette, I don't know that you're gonna, I mean, this palette looks like half Naked 3 and then half of this palette. I feel like there are some similar shades. They're similar, but they're not identical. But it's yeah, you see the theme that's going on. I don't know why they're doing so many of these pinky type palettes, because they're not really, I don't know, like, I'm not really thrilled about them. Then I wanted to also show you the palette next to the Naked Heat palette, which was another palette that I thought was very monotone, like very just one tone and done. Not a lot of richness, not a lot of differentiation. So the Naked Heat is obviously warmer, like orangey tones, and then Cherry is obviously more pinky tones. The other thing that I was asked that I mentioned is that the eyeshadow formula is pretty much the same as all their other Naked palettes. So if you don't like that formula, you're not gonna like these. I find that I prefer their single eyeshadows a lot more. I prefer their that Elements palette a lot more. I prefer like their rich dimethicone eyeshadows. I don't really enjoy the Naked palettes as much because I think the mattes are just a little thin. Even the shimmers are a little thin, and they're not my favorite eyeshadows from Urban Decay, and they do some beautiful single eyeshadows, and I wish they would kind of promote those more, but I feel like people aren't interested in paying for single eyeshadows because of the price point. They'd rather get a palette, but the palette doesn't have the same formulation that I've grown to love from Urban Decay in their singles. So it's kind of a trade-off, I guess. It's one of those things. I also wanted to share with you guys this that I got from L'Oreal. So L'Oreal sent me this collection of their, oh, everything fell. So they have this scented collection with a bunch of lipsticks and scented blushes and a scented eyeshadow palette along with a couple of eyeliners. I think this is like a rose gold collection. I just got this and I said let me share this since I didn't show it in the PR haul. So they have this palette called the Paradise Enchanted Scented Eyeshadow Palette. I looked at this and I was like, what is this? And then it smells like peaches, which is nice. I guess they're going with the Too Faced peach thing. But swatching them, I was like, all right, they're creamy and nice, but like I literally pressed the one of the matte eyeshadows and it crumbled under my fingers, and I'm like, these are really soft. Now, being really soft, they actually have a nice feel to them, like they're richer, they feel creamy. The mattes I'm talking about, but they literally almost crumbled under my fingers, and I'm like, whoa. And then the shimmers aren't really metallic, they're just regular satin shades, so I don't know that I'm necessarily in love with that palette, and I feel like it's going to be high priced as well. And then the blushes also are scented, and each of them have this I guess it is like a peach. It smells like a peach or like a, what is it supposed to be? I'm not sure at all. It's fruit scented, but it doesn't say what fruit. These are cute, but they're not for my skin tone at all. These are so light, it's ridiculous. None of these are gonna be blushes for me. They're really gonna be like blush toppers or highlight shades, which I don't mind. Like this shade, oh wait a minute, no, I have a deeper blush under here anyway. Okay, maybe this will work a little bit. All right, it looks a little bit richer on my skin. All right, maybe I was wrong about that, but these are very light shades. Just be mindful of that. They have a slight shimmer to them, which I don't mind at all. Wait a minute, that is actually pretty. Hold up. I may be wrong about that. That is fantastical. Oh, That may be a go for me. That is kind of pretty, right? It's subtle and cute, but these lighter shades, Bashful and Just Curious, I don't see how these are going to be cute because they're very light. Yeah, these are very light. They're going to be like highlighter shades. Charmin may be a nice nudie shade on me, but if you're darker than me, I don't see how any of these are gonna work. They also sent like a bunch of these new lipsticks, which I do like their lipstick formula. I think it's really nice. I'm gonna give these away though, so I'm not gonna swatch these, but these are nice lipsticks, and I do think L'Oreal does have a pretty decent lipstick formula. I also got the Lash Paradise primer and mascara. This is compared to the Too Faced Better Than Sex. I like this enough as an everyday mascara. I'm not thoroughly in love with it though, so it wouldn't replace my Too Faced Better Than Sex, but it's a decent mascara, and it seems like a lot of people do like that mascara. They also sent the primer, which I do like this primer. I think it's a nice enough primer. It doesn't do anything crazy, but it does give like a little bit of extra volume boost. They also gave me their liner, so they have one is rose gold, which is a little thin. I don't know who's gonna use a rose gold liner. Maybe to do like something fun on the eyes, but not necessarily as a full-on liner because it's really pale. And it's okay. Like an accent I can see. Their liner though, this is the liquid liner from them. I do like their liner. This has more of a felt tip applicator, and it does give you a really nice line, and it's really richly black, and I do like that liner as well. So those are the items that I wanted to share with you guys, and I wanted to mention that cherry stuff again because I think I skipped out, like I zoned out and just went straight into these products that I got in PR and just completely forgot to include details that I wanted to include. So hopefully you guys like this video. As usual, I'm going to leave a full list of the products mentioned in this video down below, along with links on where you can pick them up. Those links are affiliate links that I generate through Sephora or ULTA, which means if you purchase through those links, I do make a small sales commission. If you're not comfortable with that, just shop the way you normally shop. Ain't no muss, no fuss. But if you do shop through my links, thank you so much for the support because it does help me to put right back into the channel. And I will also leave links to my Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat where you should be following me along. And until my next video, which will be very... Until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye, guys.